Texas Tech is scheduled to kick off their 2025 season in less than 4 weeks, which means it can only mean one thing. It's poll season. Where do the Red Raiders rank in the preseason coaches poll? Well, we'll discuss that as well as look at the Big 12 outlook headed into the 2025 season, according to the coaches. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. Appreciate y'all tuning in to today's video, and let's get this out of the way. I know what you're going to say. It's a poll, RC. It doesn't mean anything. I get it, and I hear you. You are heard. You are seen. However, I do think it's quite interesting where some of these teams are ranked in terms of why are they thought highly of? Why are they here in terms of the Big 12? Because I do have some qualms with this poll, albeit I understand it means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I do think it's interesting. That being said, I do just want to jump right into this because I'm going to ask you guys here in maybe about a minute if this is too high, too low, or just right for the Red Raiders in the 2025 preseason coaches poll. So without further ado, let's take a look at it. You see it right there on your screen. The Red Raiders come in at number 24. Let me know down on the pinned comment below. Are they ranked too high, too low, or is it just right in the preseason coaches poll? Let me know down on the pinned comment below. Let's run through it. Obviously, you see that dreaded school down south at the number 1 spot. They're really damn good. There's no denying that. The defending national champions, they are trying to replace quite a few key additions. They come in at number 2, Penn State at 3, Georgia 4, and Notre Dame at 5. Now, when it comes to the Big 12, you've got Arizona State just outside the top 10 at number 11. And then you've also got Kansas State, Iowa State, BYU, and then Texas Tech. So the Red Raiders are one of 5 teams in the preseason coaches poll. I will say this. Wholeheartedly agree with Arizona State. Do I think it's a spot or two too high? Yeah, but they are easily and deserve to be the number 1 team in the Big 12, at least from a poll perspective going into the season. Full stop, in my opinion. Then Kansas State. I agree with them as well. I think that they should be a top 20 team, and I think 20 is actually the perfect spot for them. The next 2 schools, however, in front of Texas Tech, I do have some qualms with. Let's call them that, qualms. Let's start with Iowa State. Iowa State is a team that is losing 2,000-yard receivers in terms of Knoll and then Higgins, right, who are both, I believe, on the Texans now, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, you lose those guys. You lose a couple offensive linemen. You lose a few of your really defensive, stars if you are the Cyclones. Listen, I like Rocco Beck too, and I like Matt Campbell. I don't understand how you can have them at 22 in the preseason. I digress. The one that I truly have an issue with is BYU, and I get it. Quarterback is not everything, but I think everyone watching this video would agree with me in the sense that quarterback is by far the most important position in football, maybe all of sports, okay? BYU lost Jake Retzlaff for, I guess, breaching the contract you sign when you're an athlete there at BYU, not to, okay? I don't understand why BYU is here. And that is not a disrespectful thing to the Cougars. I think they're an incredibly talented team. That being said, if you lose your quarterback this close to the start of the season and you have no opportunity to go replace him in the portal, I don't understand how you can have him here, because a lot of the discussions around the Cougars coming into this year is how good can Jake Retzlaff be and push this team forward. Now, that wasn't the only discussion. Again, BYU is a talented football team. I think they should just be outside of the top 25. But I don't understand how you can have BYU ahead of Texas Tech. The only thing I can think of right here, and this would make sense, obviously, is did the coaches poll, did you have to have them submitted before the Jake Retzlaff news came out in the open, right? Did that happen? Because if that happened, okay, I can get behind that. That being said, let's fixate on the Red Raiders real quick. I think this is probably where they need to be. I was always saying when the polls came out, I thought Texas Tech would be in that 21 to 25 range. The reason being, I should say, is this. You got to prove it. Okay? You have to prove it. Did you increase the talent on your roster significantly if you are the Red Raiders? Absolutely you did. You added 13 blue chip recruits in the transfer portal alone. And for those that don't know what a blue chip recruit is, that is either a 4 or a 5-star recruit. You went out and added arguably the best defensive player in this entire portal class in David Bailey. You went out and added multiple other impact players in the trenches, out in your secondary, at the wide receiver spot. You did a phenomenal job. But at the same time, I can understand why Texas Tech is just narrowly in the top 25 from the standpoint of what have they proven at a very high level over the past year, 2 years, 3 years. They've had a noticeable trend upwards, and I'll give Joey McGuire his credit for that. But there's expectations this year, and I think that Texas Tech has to go out and prove it. I don't know another way to say that. I also think that there could be some angst, some animosity there in the sense of how Texas Tech went about it because they are Texas Tech, in the sense of nobody had a problem when Ohio State last offseason spent $20+ million to keep their players and then also go out and add guys via the transfer portal. Nobody had a problem with that. In fact, they were saying this is exactly what you should do. But the moment Texas Tech goes out and they think, okay, well, we have the financial backing to go make our football team really good and the opportunity to do so with the modern college football landscape in terms of NIL, let's go do it. Oh, no. You can't do that. Shun this program. They're ruining college football. I think that there's some of that as well. I don't think anybody will admit it, but I do think it's there. Because in my opinion, again, you see all this stuff. You see it. There's plenty of Texas Tech stuff around me, right? I know somebody's going to call me a homer or bias. It's fine. I really try not to be. You cannot tell me when it comes to talent, right, that Texas Tech is the 5th most talented team in the Big 12. That doesn't mean that they're going to be, the top team in the Big 12. Talent always doesn't prevail. I think we've seen that in sports. But if you're looking at me in my eyes and you truly believe that Texas Tech is only the 5th most talented team, and I'm going to presume that is exactly what the coaches are doing, as they have Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State, as well as BYU ahead. And I get talent is all-encompassing to me. Obviously, football in terms of on the gridiron, but also the coaching element of it. I know you're going to respect guys like Matt Campbell, and truth be told, they deserve it. They've earned it, right? But when you look at the talent that this program has in Texas Tech, you cannot look me in the eyes and be truthful with me and say that Texas Tech is the 5th most talented roster in the Big 12. You cannot do it because you're lying, or you simply just don't know ball. One of the two, I do not care which, but one of those two is true, okay? Texas Tech is easily one of the most talented rosters in the Big 12. Top 3, and I'm not sure they're 2 or 3. Truthfully, I don't, okay? Just from a sheer talent perspective. That being said, I understand there's a lot of things that orchestrate these rankings, and it's not all about talent. It's all about other things as well. I truly understand that. That being said, I cannot look at this ranking and in good faith say, yeah, I can understand Iowa State's better than Texas Tech. Or, yeah, I think BYU is better than Texas Tech, because I don't. I don't think that, okay? Now, Arizona State, Kansas State, yeah, go ahead. Put them up there. They've earned it. They deserved it. And I also understand Iowa State is coming off of a double-digit win season. But the amount of talent they lost with the amount of talent Texas Tech added and also retained, I think puts them ahead, at least from a preseason expectation standpoint. And I just don't agree with that ranking. Again, at the end of the day, does this ranking matter? No, it doesn't. But it's a very fun discussion point. And that's why we're talking about it. And I want to hear from you guys on it. You tell me, is Texas Tech football too high, too low, or just right when it comes to the preseason coaches poll? Let me know down on the pinned comment below. I would say they're in the right range, although I think they should be ahead of a couple of teams that the coaches have in the poll, most notably Iowa State and BYU. That would be my opinion. I think the optimal spot for the Red Raiders is probably 22, but if we're nitpicking here, it's a pretty good list. It's a pretty good list, honestly. I think they're pretty good. I just can't in good faith get over the fact that Iowa State and BYU are ahead of Texas Tech due to the fact that Iowa State has lost so much. BYU has lost their quarterback, and we don't know exactly what they're going to do there. And then Texas Tech added 13 blue chip players, okay, most notably in the trenches in David Bailey, Lee Hunter, Howard Sampson, so on and so forth. And there's just something that the Big 12 doesn't have a lot of in terms of impactful guys in the trenches. Texas Tech could easily, when it's all said and done this year, have the best defensive line and best offensive line in the Big 12. Now, the offensive line will be a little bit more difficult, especially with that team out in Salt Lake, but it's very possible. But let me know down in the pinned comment below, is Texas Tech too high, too low, or just right? We're going the porridge rankings here. Didn't think I would be doing that today, but here we are in terms of Texas Tech's ranking in the preseason coaches poll. Let me know down on the pinned comment below. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, as it's the best way to help the channel. It's 100% free content here. All I'm asking, if y'all want these videos, throughout the whole year and you enjoy the content, is to like the video and hit that subscribe button, because it truly does allow us to reach more people and have the content seen. And again, it's 100% free. We're trying to get as many Red Raiders in here as possible to build the largest group. Well, we already have built the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube, but continue to grow it and make it a really enjoyable place for all of Red Raider Nation. All right, I'm RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. You know how I end these videos. As always, stay safe and Wreck 'em Tech.